Hi, hello, welcome to my review of this new Netflix movie Extraction 2. This is the second movie in the Extraction series. I don't know how many parts there will be, but at this point it doesn't seem like they will stop. The first Extraction movie was a very successful Netflix original film that was based on a graphic novel by Andy Parks and Joe and Anthony Russo. Joe and Anthony Russo were obviously the directors of both Captain America 2 and 3, and also Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame, and also The Gray Man and Cherry, which are the movies that they made after they made all the Marvel movies, and they are both writer and producer of the first film. But the movie is directed by Sam Hargrave, who is a former stuntman for movies like, for example, The Avengers. And a few years ago, that might be worrying because people don't really know, okay, what is a stunt guy going to bring to the table for directing a movie? But with the John Wick movies, obviously directed by Chad Stahelski, all four of them are great, and all four of them are very well acclaimed. So I think people are trusting stuntmen now to be a director a bit more. And this film series seems to stay very consistent in creating a very simple plot and making a very fun action movie about it, because the first one was simply about Chris Hemsworth playing Tyler Rake. He is a guy who is extracting people, and that's basically his job. And so the first Extraction movie is about Tyler Rake extracting the son of a Indian gang leader, and then some complications arise. Obviously, it's an action movie, and that's basically the movie. It's pretty interesting. I think it's great how simple the plot of this movie is and how well it still is holding up. I mean, I watched this 3 times and I still think it's a very enjoyable and rewatchable movie. There's a lot of heart in the character of Tyler Rake because he has a very traumatizing past, and we don't learn much about him, but he seems to be dealing with a lot of things. And over the course of the first movie, I think he had a great arc. The thing is, spoilers for the first movie. Tyler Rake definitely dies. I mean, yeah, there was a teaser for the second movie, but in my opinion, the guy's dead. I really wasn't looking forward to this movie simply because of the fact that I think it's very tacked on to see him alive again. But I guess they found a reason, so it's not that bad. But still, yeah, I wasn't that hyped for this movie because if this is a movie series, I didn't want this movie series to become a series like, for example, Jurassic World or Fast and Furious or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because those franchises all were great in the beginning, but over the course of time, people are just sick of them and they get continually worse. And to be honest, right now, I have absolutely no interest in seeing the next movie. And I didn't want the Extraction series to become this, especially because it didn't have to be a franchise in the first place. I thought the first movie was a very good standalone film. But yeah, I think this movie definitely proved to be a good standalone movie and also, in my opinion, a very worthy sequel to the first one. Now, what's this movie actually about? This movie is a much more, I guess not much more personal story, but in this movie, Tyler Rake is alive again and he has to extract a person. That's basically it. But the person he has to extract is the sister of his ex-wife, and so that's at least a little bit more personal, at least to him. And because of this, there's a lot of conflict arising because of this family dynamic that he has with his extracting people, whatever. Just like in the first movie, there are some emotional moments that kind of show you a little bit about Tyler Rake's past, which are moments that definitely are needed. There's a lot of action in this movie, so we definitely need some break here and there to just kind of breathe and look at what characters we actually have in this movie. And those moments are definitely strong. I think Chris Hemsworth gives a great performance in this film, as he did in the first one. I think he's a great actor. Also, everybody else around him has at least one very emotional moment. In the first movie, we learned that Tyler Rake's son is apparently not there anymore, and so he has a lot of memories of his past. And when he has to extract this kid, he grows to like this kid a lot and kind of feels like a father to him, and will give anything to save that kid. And the thing is, in this movie, again, he has to save a kid, and this time his mother too, and his sister. But it felt like just the same thing again, and I really wasn't sure of what this movie is going to bring to the table when it comes to these personal moments, because it's just basically the same thing again. He has to save a kid, but this time it's definitely changed up a little. There are again some of the moments where he grows a liking to this kid, because obviously he has to think of his son, but this time it's not just that he wants to save the son, he also kind of wants to give him some advice of his past mistakes because of things that I won't spoil. And those moments are definitely fresh and something new, and I thought they were definitely good. I think this movie is not just the exact same thing again. I think it manages to take the similar concept and make something new out of it that is standing on its own enough, which I like. But honestly, this is not the focus of the movie. I think the least amount of people who watch this movie are really interested in the character of Tyler Rake. They really just want to see the action, and is the action good? Yes, it is. As I already said, I watched the first movie 3 times, and every single time the action just doesn't get boring. And I don't think I will get tired of this movie either. Especially the second half has so many crazy and innovative things about fights. It's very brutal, very intense. It's really great to watch. They use a lot of different things to fight, which kind of reminds me of John Wick, when every single part of this series has some kind of fight that is something very unique. There's fighting with horses, there's fighting on motorcycles, there's fighting with books, there's all kinds of things. And this movie, it's very similar. It's kind of Tyler Rake showing his abilities in different environments and against different types of people, and it's great to watch. I think the biggest problem I have with the movie is the long take that they have in the first half. Now, if you have seen the first movie, you probably remember that there is a very, very long scene where it's Tyler Rake basically moving through all kind of different environments. There's a car chase, and there's him going through different buildings and falling off buildings and driving in different vehicles, and it's all filmed in one take. I mean, it's not filmed in one take, but it's edited together in a very smart way to make it seem like it's one take, and it's very intense. It looks amazing. It's one of my favorite parts about the first movie. In this one, they have another very long take, and I don't think it's as impressive as the first one. First of all, because it seems like they just try to do the same thing again, or maybe a bit bigger and better. And I don't think it works very well. Definitely one thing I liked about it is that they used it to kind of create a sense of location. You move through all of these different parts of the building in all kind of directions, and you are following all kinds of different characters during that long take, which is definitely interesting. It's not just following Tyler Rake for the whole entire time. And I think some parts of it are really great when you see the chaos in this prison rising, and there's this mass of people who are fighting with each other, and Tyler Rake is in the middle of it, just trying to survive in a way and trying to protect the people he's supposed to extract. It's great, but again, it feels kind of like something we already had before and just a repeat of that. And also, the VFX just aren't that great, to be honest, in that sequence. I mean, it's obviously impressive. I think it's very great in the way they did it, but you can really feel when two shots are stitched together. There's some kind of weird transition that just doesn't really work, and there are also a lot of very unfinished visual effects about it that just look weird. I didn't want to try to notice it, but I just couldn't help but notice it. Yeah, I think it's still impressive the way they did it, but it just didn't work. It felt a little bit more forced. This movie series isn't trying to be anything big. I mean, if you want to compare it to a movie like John Wick, I think John Wick is definitely better. It has a little bit more character to it, much better world building, definitely. It looks better, it's kind of more creative, but we also had over 10 years of John Wick now, and Extraction is just in its part 2. I don't know where the series is going, but for what this is now, just a series of movies about Tyler Rake extracting people, it's definitely fun, and I think it's better than what you would expect if you just read the description of the movie. So yeah, this movie is still very fun, 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Not a masterpiece, but definitely entertaining. So yeah, definitely thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.